Hi everyone, my name is Alina. Welcome to the GraalVM YouTube channel and the latest episode of our community talks. And today we have a great guest with us who is working on a very nice open source project where he uses GraalVM. And we will hear about more about it in a second. First of all, hi Hector, thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi, Alina. I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Excited to hear more about your project. But first things first, as we discovered before the call, as you confirmed with me, it is pronounced Flossy, not Flocky, correct?
That's correct. Flossy.
Okay. And as I learned from your README, it's actually a very cool name. So it means those specifically shaped clouds, shaped like popcorn. Is that true?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so maybe for our audience, the GraalVM community on YouTube, in case they haven't tried Flossy yet, can you walk us a little bit through what it is, what is it meant for, what it can do for our users?
Yeah. Basically, Flossy is an emulator. I see in many places that they call mocking, but it's not mocking. We are emulating services. We start with Flossy, no last name at the end. So we be basically emulating Amazon Web Services, like the same that Localstat does.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you
But then,
started with AWS, but now I see that you added other integrations such as Azure and GCP. Is that correct?
yeah, we have other two brothers, I call brothers. We start with Azure first. Basically, we grab the same structure that we have for Flossy, the Amazon one, and we start implementing services for Azure. Right now, we have 15 services implemented for Azure and 8 services for GCP, the Google one.
That's impressive. And from what I recall for AWS, it's even more. It's like over 40 or something. So really an impressive number of services.
Right now, is close to 14K.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. And just to maybe briefly explain for our users, so let's say what could be a basic workflow from like starting to use Flossy to where I get it in some shape where it helps me. So let's say I have my whatever Java native image application that I normally deploy to AWS. So can you walk me through the workflow? How would I swap that for Flossy to maybe test it locally on my machine? So what are the steps that I need to take?
Yeah, basically, right now we are running Flossy in Docker, so you need Docker for it. And swap, if you are using local style, you just need to swap the image to Flossy and should work perfectly. In case you are using test container, we have test container for almost 5 languages: Java, Python, Node.js, Golang, and another one that we joined recently for .NET. So if you're using test container, just also you need to use the Flossy ones.
Right. That sounds great. And from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the services that Flossy provides you run in memory, and for some you spin up Docker containers. So can you walk us a little bit through your logic? What do you think is a sufficient thing to run in memory and what specifically requires a separate Docker container?
Yeah, we have services that don't need like a spinner containers. For example, if you need a database, it should be 100% parity for that database. So we spin up Postgres or MySQL. For memory, we spin up Redis. And also, if you need Kubernetes behavior, that's something that will take for us years to implement it internally on Flossy. So we just spin up Kubernetes container that you can connect and do the same things that you will do on production. For those ones that are in memory, is basically those services that we can emulate easily, like SQS, Dynamo, and other services that it doesn't require to have a container.
Yeah, sounds very reasonable and rational to me. And maybe
Yeah.
just to provide us sort of like behind the stage stories of how you work on Flossy, can you think of any, I don't know, service or feature or like cloud vendor integration that you thought would be very easy and straightforward to implement, but in practice that specific service turned out more complicated than it looked on the surface?
Yeah, there is a service, Athena, on Amazon that I thought that was easy to implement, but was most complex to grab the binary. I was using DocDB. I don't know if you hear about that.
Yep.
Is to do like a query on documents, big amount of documents. But that I got a couple of issues integrating. And the first one was the size of the Flossy Docker image. I want to keep Flossy smaller as possible. And that feature was just adding like a 90 megabytes to the image. I said, no, let me find a way to do it. But at the end, we implement like a sidecar. It's another container as well, but keep the same Flossy philosophy, smaller. When we spin it, that container when is required, and we don't have those 90 megabytes including the base image.
That sounds very interesting. And, ourselves as a Graal team, I think we can relate to your philosophy quite a bit of, keeping the smallest possible images, making sure they don't consume too many resources, that they can start fast. I think this is something we can also really relate to.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Okay, and another question that I thought of as a user potentially. So, how do you ensure that across all the integrations that you have, all the SDKs and services, how can you ensure that you behave in the exact same way that a user can expect from that respective cloud vendor? Like, I can imagine you probably do extensive testing, but can you walk us a little bit through how you ensure that the behavior is as expected and as it meant to be?
Yeah. We have as like a collection of testing. Right now it's close to 2000 tests. Just in parity, we have a compatibility test in different languages. We have using the real Amazon SDK. That's the way that we ensure is correct and is close to that behavior. I don't want to say the same behavior, but close to that. Um, we have 5 languages and 2 tooling for EIC. We have OpenTofu and Terraform. So we want to make sure that Flossy works for any languages, for any tools, and that's the way we are doing on each PR. So if you open one PR, that PR will be testing on 7 different um, parity, right? The languages. Why we have different languages? Because when I started implementing Flossy, I saw the same requests coming from Python and coming from Java behave different, and that's why we keep all of them.
I just cannot help but like drawing some parallels to how we work as a GraalVM team. Because like for me, what sounds similar is you might know that we have Java, but also we have all the other language implementations that are implemented on the same Truffle platform. So essentially we had a similar idea. Why would we, optimize each language separately if we can have this runtime and a platform that can optimize all of them and have provide tooling and optimizations and interop between all the languages. So for me, as you're talking, I just keep, making those parallels to how we are also trying to be efficient and solve multiple problems with one solution, basically.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically the GraalVM is doing, right? It's multi languages. You can use um, Python, Java, um, JavaScript on top of GraalVM. I
Yeah.
don't remember the name that you connect is Ruffle?
Truffle is our language
Truffle.
implementation API. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. Okay, and since we are talking about GraalVM, I would like to, start asking you about your GraalVM journey. Like, any chance you remember what was the first time and what was the first occasion that you even learned about GraalVM?
I think it was around 2019. Yeah. It was when I started using Quarkus in the that was still alpha, was not a normal release.
Mhm.
I started reading the things that I liked at that moment was that Quarkus was like manage different languages in the same way that another tool that on Java that I was using at the moment, Vertex. Vertex IO. So follow the same pattern, the same philosophy, different languages on top of Java. So we love other languages.
Yes, yes, that's our slogan. Yes, we all the languages.
Yeah,
Right, and as I understand, actually, that's your basically tech stack or the basis of it for Flossy, right? You use Quarkus, you use Vertex X, and you use GraalVM, right?
that's correct.
Yes. And was Flossy for you the first project that you used GraalVM, like for real, or did you try some other projects before with GraalVM? But Flossy is what your focus now, and where are you using GraalVM now?
I have used GraalVM a couple of times internally in some projects that are not public. But yeah, Flossy was the first one that I worked with GraalVM and make public to use it. Um, I have many tools internally, as I mentioned. Most of them are like a command line tool, and we compile that to binary to put faster on the command line. Um, we have others that are running on services inside containers, also compile on GraalVM, but because the same, we need to scale faster. Um, we have like a high frequency of scale down, scale up, and I think to achieve that, GraalVM is the perfect tools.
I'm very glad to hear that GraalVM helps you in so many different ways and so many different use cases. And I think I recall you from another interview that I saw of you talking about how you think Quarkus and GraalVM is a very nice combination because you get sort of from Quarkus partially that fast startup and good startup performance, but on top of that, GraalVM also adds additionally those memory savings. So can you talk a bit about that combination of Quarkus and GraalVM, and what are the benefits of you observe, and how happy are you with that technical stack that you chose?
Yeah, I have used GraalVM in different ways. Standalone with Quarkus and other frameworks. But I think with Quarkus is the perfect combination because when they create that framework from scratch was having a GraalVM on mind. I think I think that's the reason they plays good together. They play nice together. Um, when I started using Quarkus, I was not like focused on the GraalVM. I was focused to use it to learn about Quarkus, and I was one of the first 1,000 committer to the framework as well.
Oh, that's impressive. I think they have somewhere like a page or something with all those committers listed, right? So that's a really nice accomplishment.
Yes, yes, yeah, it's on there. I'm on there on the list. But also I got a T-shirt that says
Oh, very
version
cool.
one. I use barely. I have that on my closet. Yeah. But coming back to GraalVM and Quarkus, um, those two tools together makes perfect binary, faster, easy to build, easy to build because they Quarkus takes the responsibility to add all the configuration and reflection. Um, but if you use it standalone, you use Quarkus standalone, you can get the same result, but you need to do more adjustment, right? Also, I use Quarkus in the Spring Boot, well, 4 version 4, and they got a lot of improvement as well. So Java is moving.
Java is in a really great place right now. I agree with you. And talking about those benefits that you observed, I would like to quote some numbers from your GitHub repo because they are there front and center and they make me very happy. So I think you mentioned this startup that you observed is around 24 milliseconds for Flossy. And the idle memory, so the memory of the process while it is idle waiting to be used, is around 16 megs. So I think those are really impressive benefits and really impressive parameters for a project like yours. And I wanted to ask you, so those are some of the benefits that you see probably from GraalVM. Any other like maybe unexpected benefits that you have discovered, such as, I don't know, smaller packaging or easy distribution to like other platforms as a native executable? So any other sort of like benefits that you have observed or noticed?
Benefits are smaller. You don't depend from the JVM to be installed, so that keeps your container smaller. You just need to ship the binary, right? Um, speed, memory. Those are the main benefits that GraalVM offer.
For sure. And I'm very happy that Flossy is an open source project. It's very important for us to support open source projects, and we are very happy to see that. I think you are using our GitHub actions to set up GraalVM in your builds. And again, that makes us very happy because we want to provide a nice ways for open source projects to use GraalVM. So can you talk about using that GitHub action? Like, was it easy for you to set up? Are you happy with how it works currently in your workflows? And like, what is your experience with it so far?
Yeah, it's basically you just add that step on the GitHub action, it will get set up automatically for you. You don't need to do any extra folder configuration. Set the version and just run the action.
Perfect. Sounds like a great plan. And I've been following your project for a while. I think you're making tremendous projects, tremendous progress since I've been following you over the past few weeks. I see new and new features being added so often. So can you talk a little bit, if it's not a secret yet, what is next on the roadmap? What are the things that you would like to add, or maybe you would like to encourage contributions from the community for new features to be added?
Yeah, features. We'll be having a couple of new services, not a lot, on Flossy on the Amazon emulator, but the real roadmap that we'll be having is to mix the others two brothers almost to the same line of Flossy, implement the same service that is required for those developers from those clouds, and makes them like a line, um, almost the same amount of services that we have implemented on Flossy. On Flossy, we need to get at least 4 more services that are demanded. But something that we'll be doing is a web page where developers can get their votes for the services that they need. So we know what is the most demanded services that is missing on Flossy, and we can implement that. So we'll be community driven new features.
Sounds great. And also sounds to me like you have a lot of sort of community interest and ideas of what can be added and probably contributions. So sounds like Flossy is doing really great and is getting a lot of feedback from the community, right?
Yeah, it's tremendous. It's tremendous support the community is doing. We got in average like 10 PRs per day. We got a lot of issues open, a lot of feedbacks for different places on LinkedIn, on Twitter, by in the Slack, in the Flossy Slack channel. Even they opens conversation just to say thank you, and in the way that Flossy is solving the problem internally in the company.
That sounds so great, right? As an open source maintainer, to
Yeah.
see that what you are doing is getting great feedback from the community, right?
Yes. That's the fuel that keeps us pushing new changes and improving it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think those are all the things that I wanted to ask you. We will make sure to link Flossy and all the documentations and getting started resources under the video so people can get started. Any sort of last moment like guidance from you for new users? Where should they start, on a website or on GitHub, or any other sort of recommendations that you would like to make to new users?
Yeah, to have the whole picture, go to Flossy.io, and you'll see the 3 emulators right there, and also that will take you to the GitHub page or repo, and take a look to the issues that are open. If you think you can contribute to one to take one of those, do it. Join to the Slack community. Ping me if you need something, and I will be happy to help.
Sounds great. Sounds like a great project. Thank you for this great conversation, and thank you for using GraalVM. It makes us very happy to see it powering such nice projects as Flossy.
Thank you, Alina. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm here. Anything that you need.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.